Hello guys, this is the second segment of Boylen. Secret Diary of Boylen. So let me flip to the page. If you are reading along, it's on page 4. It was late in the afternoon when the first sunshine pierced the overcast, falling through the cottage window in a golden swath across Elizabeth's pearl-white and naked breasts. Dudley, reclining close beside her, propped upon an elbow, traced a lazy path around the small dove-soft mounds with a rough-skinned but gentle hand. He grazed the rosy nipple, and it moved beneath his touch. An unexpected sigh escaped the mouth whose painted lips had by now been kissed clean. Her eyes fluttered behind the lids and opened slowly. Elizabeth and Dudley had had a hard ride through green April fields and come at last to the Royal Hunting Lodge, a rough and tiny timbered house at the edge of Duncton Wood. The pair had entered laughing, breathless from their exertions, but with the blood racing in every extremity, and had fallen into passionate embraces and kisses, and, as had been progressing in the months preceding, to several intimacies. "You take some liberties with your queen, my love," Elizabeth murmured with just a trace of sharpness. Measuring his words, and finding room for boldness, Dudley replied, "I mean to take more, your majesty." He protracted, and a steady gaze was surely meant to cause hesitation. But Dudley was a man aroused and almost past caring. Elizabeth's sleeves and bodice lay undone around her reed-like torso, but the skirts and petticoats of her velvet riding habit were still intact upon her hips and legs, though rumpled and softened by the steamy vapors of their afternoon's embraces. His wandering hand caressed Elizabeth's waspish waist and the hot, moist ridges of her spine. He pushed his fingers down beneath the lacy undergirdle to find the soft V between her buttocks and, with this grasp, pulled her hips against his. She gasped in sudden pleasure, and so emboldened, with the skirt all loosened from above, he groped to find her mound of maiden hair. "Robin, stop," he answered her command with one fierce kiss covering her mouth. She moved beneath him, but not in order. She pulled her face away. "Don't stop me now, Elizabeth." "Yes, stop. I tell you, stop." Her voice had changed, had lost its silk. Her body's softness turned to rigid wood. Dudley's features flushed with helpless rage. He pulled his hand reluctantly from the queen's great skirts. Elizabeth watched Dudley's beautiful face as he struggled to control himself. His naked desire for her body, which she loved and feared, had changed with her command to stop, to sudden fury, and then to something different, more difficult to discern. She was queen. He was her subject. His eyes showed the confusion of this awkward state. She knew, the only woman in England who had the power to command a man this way. The exultant strength was new, for her coronation had been only 3 months before, and Robert Dudley had been her dear friend since her early childhood. Once she'd become queen, his loyal affections had taken on a fervent quality which she had found altogether irresistible. She had, with an imperious flourish, named him her master of the horse, and he had ridden proudly behind her in the coronation procession for all the world to see. Most believed them already intimate to the fullest degree. But Elizabeth had withheld the ultimate favor. "Robin, love." She stroked his hot, damp cheek. "Don't call me love," he said with a solemn gaze. "I'll call you what I will," she said in tart response. The light was fading fast, and they both knew their precious private time would soon be ending. Elizabeth sat up, pulled her bodice back together, and fumbled with the many closings. "Come help me with this now." She teased him with a coquettish grin, and despite his pique, he was, as ever, completely charmed by this frail girl. His clumsy fingers pushed the tiny pearl buttons through their satin eyes. Once his fingers slipped purposely, brushing her now corseted breast with his hand. "Your counselors are wild with fear," he said. "They think you mean to marry me and make me king." He sat up, pulling close his shirt and vest, now looking her in the eye. "And what, pray, would they have us do with your good wife?" "Wife? Have I a wife?" he joked. She stood before him, forcing their eyes to meet. "If you and I were wed, would you forget me so easily?" He saw that he had blundered, not simply making light of his own loveless marriage, but recalling the cold-bloodedness with which her father had discarded his wives, including Elizabeth's mother. But this girl, his queen, his love Elizabeth, drove him mad with her changeability. At times, she opened to him like a flower to sunlight, laughing, teasing, making wicked plans in much the way they had done as children. In those times, they were as if intoxicated, crazed with delight in each other's company. She had even contemplated marriage to him. Sometimes she pushed him to be strong with her, to dominate and be her master. Then, with the swiftness of a summer storm, she turned dark and harsh, playing upon his insignificance, toying with him as she would a chess piece. "I have too many suitors, Robin. Princes, kings, and emperors, to think of you to marry." She said this flippantly, but he sensed a softening in her. He watched her move as she put on her velvet jacket, saw the shoulders droop just so, the eyes unfocused, the forehead tight and strained, wishing to his stand, looming tall above her, his voice a mellow purr. He tilted up her head to his. "Do you not think you have some loyal subjects of your own to make an heir for their English throne?" "An heir?" Her eyes flashed and seemed almost to snap. "An heir, Robin? Is this the issue here? Not love, but royal offspring? King Robert, father to many sons, high ruler of England, and, oh yes, I'd forgotten, husband of Elizabeth." "You twist my words, you take me wrong," he cried. He chose an ill and blundered yet again. Elizabeth crossed the rough-hewn floor and made for the cottage door. Her face flushed crimson. Her succession to the throne had been a ghastly road littered with the dead. Robin Dudley was her love, not her lord. To talk of heirs now, in moments sweet as these, was a noxious thing. She pulled open the door, but Dudley slammed it shut. "Let me by." "No, Elizabeth. I command you," she roared. Dudley saw the purple pulsing veins beneath the parchment skin of Elizabeth's hollow temples. He saw that she was about to cry. He dropped to his knees before her. "Your Majesty," he could not go on for a moment, terrible emotions overwhelming his reasonable mind. He raised his arms of supplicant and encircled her waist. Despite the many layers of cloth, and corset bones, he felt her trembling. "Oh, forgive me, please. Robin, rise. I did not mean for you. No, let me speak." Though his head was bowed, he spoke with such intensity that every word was sharp and clear. "I knew you as a child, Elizabeth, born a royal princess, then cast aside as bastard by a father who wanted only sons, sent from court to live in obscurity and in poverty. You suffered without his care, but in that nursery schoolroom where my father sent me, I found a jewel, a brilliant mind, a glowing soul, a lovely face as pale as a Yorkshire rose. I loved you even then. We were brother and sister, friends, schoolmates. We laughed, we wept, we helped each other through some times, did we not? Dudley did not raise his head to receive the answer, but he knew his words were being heard. The talk of older days and childhood had stopped her trembling, and her breathing eased and slowed. This frail, sweet girl survived a tender brother's reign and death, a bloody sister's rule and demise, to become Elizabeth the Queen. The girl is gone, but in my mind, not the playmate, not the sister, not the friend. They remain. But now I feel a greedy passion for the woman's body. This creates a deep and terrible bond, each to the other. True, I am married to Amy Dudley, by the law. But to you, I am married by my heart and soul and mind. Robin, Elizabeth's voice was soft now, but he commanded her to silence with his eyes, holding her gaze with steady intensity. Let me say this. I am yours completely, subject, vassal, obedient servant. If you would have me as your husband, you will always command me, and I'll have attained a heaven on earth. If you choose a consort for reasons of alliance, I will understand and serve you. If you choose another man for love, he looked away, my soul will be gutted. Dudley held her gaze again. But no matter what you choose to make of me, I will always love you, Elizabeth. I will fight, die, be torn limb from limb, to save England and your right to govern her. Without warning, Dudley tore his shirt and vest open and laid bare his chest. With a flash of gleaming metal, he had slashed it with his dagger. God, Robin, crying now, Elizabeth fell to her knees, pressing her fingers over the wound to stanch the flow. I don't want you to die for me. I want you to live for me. Make love to me. Make love to me now. Robert Dudley had nothing to do but obey his queen. So that's the second segment for you guys. I know that's a little over PG-13, but I hope you guys don't mind. Bye, guys.